Hello everyone, welcome to the Go Code Snippets channel. So this channel is all about the Go programming language. So if you are new to this channel, please make sure you subscribe, and if you like this video after watching, make sure you like and also share the video, and also hit the notification bell so when I release new videos you'll be the first to be notified. So today we'll be talking about error handling in Go. So in other programming languages we have typically a try catch or try catch finally block, but in Go errors are just values. So if I just like when you have integer types and values, you have string types and values, you have boolean types and values. So errors are also just values. So if I say var error of type error and I print out error, so it's going to give me the zero value of error. So if I print this out, so I'm having new. So that means the zero value for any error type is new. So when you're having an error with a value of new, that means the error does not exist. That's the first thing. So the next thing now is, say I want to create a file. So I'll use package from package US. I'll use the function create. Then I'll pass in the name of the file I want to create. Let's say file.txt. And this one returns two values. The first one is the file itself, and the second one is an error. So to undo this error, I'll just simply say if error is not equals to nil. So what this means is that if error is not equals to nothing, that means if error is something, meaning if there's an error. So I can just log.println print println error create. Then I'll return. Then from here I have to defer the close. Then moving on, I'll just do something with F. So if I run this code, first I have to input log. So if I run this, now notice this place, there was nothing here before. I have just my go.mode and main.go. So once the code runs, form imported and all, I think I should turn to OS instead. So I have file.txt created in the current directory I am. So let's say I want to create it inside another directory. I'll just have to root the directory from my current directory. So if I have another directory somewhere here, so it should just be a path. So it should just be like a path to the directory, then the file name. So that is how OS create works. So typically, if we are to get an error with OS create, let's say we don't specify a name for the file, and I run this code. So this time I'll be getting an error because I didn't specify a name for the file. So I'm having an error, that error creating file, which is what I have here. Then the error, the system cannot find the file specified. So that's how errors are handled in Go. So you can also create your own custom errors. So let's say I have a function that calculates the square root of numbers. Square root. So to take in a float 64, then it will return a float 64 and an error. So I just simply say if f is less than 0, because you can't get the square root of a negative number is a complex number. So I can just say return 0. And to create my own custom error, I can use the function error f from package font. So if I do go doc font error f, so what error f just does is just takes in a particular format with a string, and any interface and returns an error. So I can just simply say forms.error f cannot calculate the square root of a negative number. So else I'll just return math dot square root. So from package math, I'm using the function square root. So function squares from package math takes in a float 64 and also returns a float 64. So I'm just putting in f into math dot square. It's going to give me a float 64. Then the error I want to return is new, because at this point we are not expecting any error anymore, because we've already checked if the number we're passing into the function is a negative number. So if it's a positive number, it should surely have a square root. So I'll just import math. So in my main func, I'll call the square root function. So let's first call it with a negative number. So I'll say square root and error should be a result of square root, let's say negative 5.0. So I'll check for my error as usual. So I can just log and print out the error. And return. Otherwise, I'll print out. Okay. What is wrong with me? The square root of the number. So So I have cannot calculate the square root of a negative number because I'm passing in a negative number, and the function says if f is less than 0, that means if f is a negative number, just return 0, which is nothing, and also this error message. So another way of handling errors is we can actually assign it to a variable. So I can say var error negative should be equals to, so I'm using the function new from package errors. So package errors also helps us create error types, custom error types. So errors.new, so I'll just copy this. I'll cut this into this place. So I have to import package errors. So I'll just change this one to error negative. And from here I can just okay, so from here, if I'm to call this, so I can just simply say if error not equals to null, I can say if error equals to error negative. negative. So that means I'm saying that if there's an error and the error is equals to error negative, then we'll just log the print in, we'll just print the error, and or else we'll print this. So let's run that again. So we're having that can calculate the square root of a negative number. So let's change it to a positive number. Let's say 13.0. So we're having the square root of 13.0, which is 3.605555. So we can actually make it to a lesser precision. Let's say we want to make it to 2 or 3 decimal places. So we can just do printf, and I can say percentage dot 2f. That means 2 decimal place, and the square root. So if you read the documentation for package forms, you see how to pass pattern strings, because if you check the documentation for printf function, printf from package forms, so printf takes in a format string. So this format, if you read documentation for package forms, you see how the different formats, we have different format. There's percentage %t to check type, percentage %v to check the value, percentage %f without no precision, then percentage dot something f for the precision. There are a lot of different formats, so I'll employ you to check out the documentation for the forms package. So the next thing now is, so there's also one more thing that I would like to mention before I end this video, and that is you can actually print out errors as string values. And to simply do that, you just need to just add the error method. So if you call the error method on any value of type error, it will print out the message in the error as a string. So if I do this, basically, okay, let me change this back to a negative number. Let's say minus 6.0, and I run it. So I'm basically having the same message just like before. Cannot calculate the square root of a negative number. But the difference between error.error and ordinary error is that error.error is of type string. So when you have an error type and you call the error method on it, it becomes a string type. So to prove that, let us just log dot, okay, let's do font dot printf. So we'll check for the type of the two. So the check for the type, let us just log dot printf. So we'll do percentage capital T, sorry, percentage capital T, then percentage capital T again. So what this does is checks for the type of error.error and also the type of ordinary error. So let us check for the type of the two. One more is a lot. Let me comment out loud. So we're having a string for the type of this. So we're having a string for the type of this. Then for the type of this, we're having an error. So it is just type error string from package errors pointer to error string, which in a way also means is of type error. So that is how errors are handled in Go and the story behind errors. So that will be the end of today's video. And if you are new to the channel, once more, please and please subscribe. I'd really appreciate it if you do. And if you like this video, click the thumbs up and also hit the notification bell